Hi, everybody. This is Damien from Legion Life. As you know, I'm all about sharing inspirational stories about people who are living their best life. Today, I have Aurelia and Marco from 421 Adventure, who are cycle adventurers who in 2018 decided they would bike from Helsinki to Singapore. So I think you guys didn't quite reach Singapore. I think you finished in Thailand, but you covered something like 30,000 kilometers, so quite an epic adventure. So today we're going to hear a little bit about their story. So how are you guys today?
I'm fine. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, that was a really good introduction. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, thanks. Well, so let's get started. Maybe you guys can give us a little bit of background about you guys, where your interest in the outdoors, adventure came from.
I mean, we always like the outdoors, like you said, camping, hiking, etc. I also liked mountain biking. Already wasn't too keen on it, but one day I talked her into coming on a trip with me.
Well, not one day. It took a long time to convince me.
Yeah. But I mean, one day, for some reason, you said, "Yeah, okay, let's do it," and we got her a decent bike because that's the reason why she didn't like cycling, because she had a terrible bike. But one day she got on a proper bike and she really liked it, and she said, "Okay, let's do this." So we got her a good bike and she liked it even more, and then we just kind of, because we were like retro feeding each other, we just got more and more addicted to it. We started traveling more and more by bicycle, and one day we said, well, let's just go, let's just do this.
Yeah, the thing is that we were only able to cycle on our holidays, mostly in summer, and we got like 2 weeks holiday. So it was a really good vacation, but it was too short, like when you cycle long distances, you realize that, okay, you've done one day, you rest, and you're able to do the second day, and then you do a week, and then you do 2 weeks, and then you're like, why should I stop? There's more to see. The road continues. And that's why one day we said, okay, we need more than just cycling in summer.
Okay, so that was the inspiration for the Helsinki trip, or was there another trip before then?
No, that was the Helsinki trip. Yeah, that was the trip. Like before, we just went on holiday. It was just a week, 10 days loop around the house or around France or something like that. And then one day we said, okay, we want to go far. We want to do something bigger. We want to
explore.
Yeah.
More. And basically also because we mainly did the cycling summer trip in France. I'm originally from there.
Yeah.
So the language is the same, the custom, we know them, we know the food, we know everything, and we needed to explore the world, to have more adventure and to test ourselves also and take the time to do it.
Okay, so how did you come up with the idea Helsinki to Singapore?
Well, we actually saw a documentary of someone who did something similar. It was Madrid to India. And I don't know, we just started digging around the internet and we realized that Singapore was a pretty common. Can you still hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
It was a pretty common destination because, it's kind of like Land's End. Really, after Singapore, there's not many more places you can go by bike. And Helsinki was just a random city that we picked because we wanted to visit East Europe, and because there was a cheap flight from Barcelona in Spain, where we were living at the time, to Helsinki, and we said, well, yeah, why not start there? And we knew Western Europe pretty well, so we said, okay, let's skip all of this, and let's just go like straight to the interesting part.
Okay, so what was the actual route you kind of like decided on?
Yeah, so Eastern Europe was the first objective, and we cycled this part from Helsinki down to Greece.
Going through Russia a little bit.
Yeah.
We like to say that because because a lot of people take a ferry from Helsinki to Tallinn, which is okay, but we've been wanting to go to Russia, for example, for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And St. Petersburg is right on the route between Helsinki and Tallinn, and we said, wow, we have to do that. So we spent like 10 really nice days in Russia, and we like to say that because it was actually very, very early in the trip, and it's Russia is one of those countries in which you leave your comfort zone totally. You know, like you went to
From the
Russia,
second you enter.
yeah, you cross the border by bicycle, and it's just like a whole new universe. It's not like when you land there and a taxi picks you up and takes you somewhere. No. You're like in the middle of a highway in Russia by bicycle. You know, yeah. But it was nice. Yeah, but sorry, I interrupted you. Yeah.
So should I give more details about the countries we cycled in Europe?
Yeah, no, give us a little bit of an idea on the route you kind of traveled.
Yeah, so after Russia, we cycled through the Baltics countries, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and then Poland on the eastern parts of Poland, and then Slovakia, Hungary, Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece. Yeah, it takes me quite a lot of time because there are a lot of little countries.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And sometimes I mix the order, but yeah.
So how long did it take you to do this leg of the trip?
About 3 months.
Yeah, 3-4 months, and it was like for almost 5,000 kilometers.
It was 7,000.
7,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like from Helsinki to Istanbul is about 7,000.
Okay. So and then after that you went more into the kind of like Middle Eastern countries.
Exactly. We entered Turkey and we crossed all of it, and then we went to Iran. Then it's when you get all these Stan countries, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and then a little bit of China.
Yeah.
Pakistan, India, Nepal, India again, Myanmar, and then a lot of Southeast Asia countries in the, like we did a loop. Like when you exit Myanmar, you can go on the right and you get to Singapore quite fast. And we say, no, it's too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just before Christmas. We didn't want to be home for Christmas because we're not Christmas people. So we said, well, let's just go around Southeast Asia for a while.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 months.
Yeah. And then, as you said, we were about 1,500 kilometers from Singapore. We were really close to the border with Malaysia that you have to cross to go down to Singapore. And then everything happened, and we just kind of got stuck there for a while.
Okay.
Before deciding to come back home.
So how long were you actually traveling for up to when you got stuck?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Quite a long time. So
yeah, but I mean that's one of the things that we really liked about the trip, the fact that we kind of just abandoned and dropped everything. So we didn't have any ties, because initially we wanted to go away for about 15 months, and then it very quickly became 18 and then 20, and then, well, let's just make it 2 years.
Yeah.
And that was made possible by the fact that we didn't have anything weighing us down back home, because
no jobs, no flat, no obligations.
Yeah, understood.
And that's key. I think, I mean, you can do a 1-year trip and you have a great time, really. But we felt that meeting other cyclists with this deadline made the trip like really, like you have to get out of this country on at that time, so you get on time for the end of the trip. And for us, it made a really great difference not to have an end day. I mean, of course, you have your savings.
Yeah.
During this trip, we realized we spent half of what we were expecting. So that's why we're able to make it a little bit longer too. We are not struggling that much.
Yeah, understood. So maybe you can walk us through, how do you plan to go on one of these kind of like trips?
I was thinking about this the other day, and it's funny how now I realize that 3 years ago we didn't have a clue actually. I mean, we something that we did right was that before going away on the big trip, we did little trips. So, for example, we knew the equipment that we wanted, we knew the equipment that we needed, and we knew the equipment that we didn't want and that we didn't need.
Yeah.
That's very key, because a lot of people they leave with a lot of stuff which they end up either throwing away or sending back home or whatever, and that didn't really happen to us. So that was good, because at least the part of the preparation, which was the gear, we had pretty much sorted out. But everything else you just learn as you go along. I mean,
and you don't need to know everything before starting it. You learn on the trip.
Yeah, you just need to know that you want to spend some time doing whatever you decided to do.
So you basically just kind of like mapped out a possible route that you're going to travel, and then guideline kind of like timeframes, and then basically just headed off.
Yeah, I mean, we knew the route. We knew we were starting in Helsinki, going all Eastern Europe, and then heading slowly to Singapore. But also we learned how to really bike tour during this long trip, because at the beginning in Europe we were cycling the same way we were doing it than during our summer vacation.
Yeah.
And during your summer vacation, you have 15 days, you cycle 15 days.
You plan everything, you know where you're gonna sleep in 3 days from now, you know, like the opening hours of the thing that you want to visit, you know, it's, yeah.
And this is how we cycled the first 3 or 4 months in Europe. And then we entered Turkey and everything changed. We realized we had 3 months visa, and we said, why should we cycle it in 1 month if we have 3 months? We started to make longer breaks, to make detours, and that made difference.
Really. Absolutely, yeah.
And then you plan really according to, in our case, we planned according to the visa we are allowed to have. Like if we have 1 month's visa, we say, okay, we want to stay here 1 month.
Yeah.
And so you know which day you really have to be out of the country for legal reasons. And then you inform yourself about what there is to see in the country and what you want to see. And little by little, you organize your little stops in every country. And then you reduce the scale and you decide to organize your day by day.
Okay. So on average, how much time would you actually be on the bike? So, because I guess a lot of people have the perception that, okay, I'm going from Helsinki to Singapore, these people are on the bike all the time, maybe have some rest to go recover. But obviously it sounds like you found some times to have days off so you could go exploring and do more things.
I think we cycle about, like on the bike, on the saddle, I think it's about 5 hours per day.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
we do.
6, it depends.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge lie just to use the word average, but that's the impression I have, that we do when we cycle. The days we cycle, it's about 5 hours per day.
Yeah.
And there's actually a lot of logistic around the cycling part. Cycling is actually the easiest part of the day because it's really simple. Okay, I'm on the saddle, I have to pedal and go forward.
And that's the way, yeah.
But before that, you have, I mean, if you wild camped or camped the night before, you have to fold everything and
organize everything.
Have your breakfast, and clean.
Yeah, for example, in the morning, it takes us about 2 hours to get ready.
Yeah.
So that's on top of the 5 hours that we cycle. And then, of course, in these 5 hours, we would have 2 or 3 breaks, including lunch break, which is normally like an hour or more if the place is interesting. And then you have like shopping to do. You have to look for a place to sleep. And then, of course, there's like a lot of interaction with people. So basically 5 hours of cycling represents like a whole day of living, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had days where we've cycled more than 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had days where we cycled like 8 hours, 9 hours.
Yeah.
And basically that's all you do. You wake up early, you cycle, and you go to bed late.
So
also, I think there's a...
No, carry on.
Sorry, yeah, I think there's a different rhythm depending on how many people cycle together. As a couple, I think we cycle less, maybe because of me. Yeah, I have my strength is not the same as Marco's.
I didn't say anything.
But if you're a solo cyclist, I think you go faster. I mean, not you go faster, but you
cycle
longer distances, because your only entertainment is the cycling part, and you're alone. So why should you stop? So you like just keep on cycling and cycling. And
yeah, like in the evening we would stop and just like hang around together. But even when I used to cycle without Aurelie at the very beginning, I would cycle until I couldn't cycle anymore. I mean, because I was either exhausted or because there was no more light. Just because, you know, you're alone, it's like, why am I going to stop? What I'm going to do?
Yeah, no, understood. So did most nights you were camping? So that was the plan? Did you stay at hostels or anything along those lines, or was it mainly camping?
I think it depends a lot on the country. In some countries, a very good example is Thailand. It's super easy to camp everywhere. I mean, it's very difficult to find a place where you can't camp. Other countries, for example, Vietnam, hotels are so cheap, which it just makes you feel stupid when you camp. You know, like
it's hot.
Yeah, it's like $3.
Shower.
It's $3 a night. Why would I even like waste time setting up camp? You know?
Yeah.
Some countries, people are super friendly and really hospitable, and I mean, they don't even allow you to camp. Like, for example, we've been in England and we have asked people if we could camp in their garden or in their farmyard, and they said, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah. But in some countries they would say, no, why? Come inside, you know, stay with us, we've got room.
Cool. So yeah, so
these countries are Iran and
Central Asia in general. It's it's incredible.
We had we spent 6 months in Turkey and we spent 3 months in Iran, and we camped 3 or 4 nights. But because we wanted to, because Marco is carrying the tent, and we were like, okay, we are carrying for a reason, so we should really camp.
Okay. So what were some of your most memorable occasions during the trip?
The memories, no? The experience.
Like the biggest. I mean, we always talk about people, and I think it's very unusual to have a day when we don't meet someone which really leaves a mark on our trip for some reason, even if it's just telling us something nice or offering us a cup of tea or something like that. I mean, we really like these small gestures.
Yeah.
And as I said, luckily we meet these people almost every day. So for me, the answer is, of course, people. I mean, it's incredible when you travel like this. You just reconcile your faith in humanity. I mean, yeah, people are great. It's really. But I think from a cyclist point of view, Central Asia is really exciting to cycle because the landscapes are like super different from what we used to, at least in Europe.
Yeah.
The Pamir Highway is in Tajikistan, and it's like a cycling mecca. I mean, if you love cycling and outdoors, you have to go there. So once in your life, at least.
Yeah, and it's also a trip you can do like for a month or 2 months. Like if you don't have a lot of time, you can say, okay, I want to cycle there. I take a plane with my bike, I cycle it, and then I come back.
Yeah. No, cool. So what about challenging times on the trip?
Borders.
Borders.
Yeah, we didn't have any really important technical issues with the mechanical issue.
We never had any like problems with the police or weird people or
nobody ever stole us anything.
Or mega super bad weather. You know, we're really lucky.
But our specialty is the borders.
Borders, yeah.
And we experienced a lot of different problems. Every time it was a new problem. To give you an example of a quite hard one, we were in Thailand going to Laos, and there are some different options when you want to enter Laos, different borders. But we didn't want to use the popular one. We said, okay, let's go further south and cross a mountain range, and it took us actually 4 days to get to the border, going up and down all the time, really hot, humid,
crazy hilly,
35 degrees 24 hours a day,
but super nice,
really beautiful.
Yeah.
The border, and at the Thai border you get the exit stamp, and he said, well, maybe you want to go first to the Laos border and confirm that you can cross the border with your bicycles. I'm like, well, I don't know. Yeah, we will enter Laos. So he gave us the exit stamp, and then we arrived to the Laos customs, and the guy looked at us and said, oh, you're gonna have a problem here. You can enter Laos, no problem, but you can't enter with your bicycle. Why? I mean, this is the way we travel. No, you can't. You can leave them here, visit Laos, and come back and pick them up.
Okay.
And no, because after Laos, we go to Vietnam, so it's not possible. So there we try to understand. There was no way to understand. We never got any explanation of the reason why we couldn't. And we tried to see if we could dismantle the bicycle, put the bike on the taxi, on the truck, or, you know, like, especially because it was our last day on our Thai visa.
Yeah.
It meant a lot of trouble. Finally, there was no way we could enter, even by trying to pay a tax, you know, like finding a way, no way. And we said, okay, no, we're not going. So finally we took a bus, and
we took three buses
to go to the popular border we didn't want to cross initially.
So did they let you cross over?
Yeah, in that one, I mean, that one is it's the big tourist gateway to Laos kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we've never known why we couldn't enter Laos on a bicycle at that specific land border.
And at that border, you can exit Laos by bicycle. You can actually cycle from Laos to Thailand, but not Thailand to Laos.
The vagaries of developing countries.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. We always had this kind of like very situation, what the hell.
Yeah.
It was never, because we hear a lot of people like getting ripped off by corrupted officials or whatever, you know, but no, we always got like the really weird situations, like how is this even a thing, you know?
Yeah, understood. So some of the countries you traveled through, people would be going, well, that looks a little bit dangerous, or they have a perception that it's dangerous, I guess, like Pakistan, Iran, or some of these other countries. So what's your perception of these places?
Yeah, people are dangerous because they ask you too many selfies. No, really, I mean, the thing is that you're in a country, you're in Turkey, and they tell you, you're going to Iran. No, don't go to Iran. We go to Iran, and people are nicer than in Turkey.
Yeah.
Then in Iran, people tell us, no, don't go to the next Turkmenistan. Whatever, yeah. You go there, it's even better. So, I mean, in Iran, everything went perfect. People are really hospitable. They are not allowed to host people. The situation there is very complicated for them.
Yeah.
They just don't care. They want to see you, to meet you, to talk to you. You are their Wikipedia. They really want to know about you, about your country, about how things work.
About what's really happening in the world, and yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they see you, they don't know you, and they want to host you, and they give you food, they give you a roof underneath where you can the house to sleep.
Yeah.
And the day you leave, they say, no, don't leave, don't leave. I want my neighbor to know you. My grandmother is coming, so you stay another day. And the day you leave, they give you food, so you don't have any problems on the roads. And it's really amazing the fact that they are so nice to strangers.
Yeah.
In some country, I mean, where we come from, we are nice people. We have friends, family, but we are quite afraid of the stranger. And
Yeah.
in Iran, for example, a stranger is a friend. They treat us like kings, really.
Yeah. No, understood.
And Pakistan, I don't know.
No, but I mean, in general, as you said, there's a lot of countries that sound nasty, but
Once you're there,
we swear to whatever you want. We've never had any problem on the road. I mean, not at all. Like we've never been robbed. We've never been stabbed. We just and I mean, I know we're lucky because I mean we've crossed so many people.
Sometimes.
We should have had at least one bad experience. I mean, I know we're not fools. We know that there's also like weird, dangerous people out there. But I mean, we didn't meet any, and that's just extraordinary. It's just, yeah.
And it really makes us believe that the bicycle attracts good people, good experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess because cyclist isn't the perception of the wealthy, rich tourists, and then also you're more open to meeting these people because you're going to places that most people don't really go to. So you're actually meeting the real people of a country. You're not going to more tourist kind of areas, places where the more wealthier tourist kind of like hangs out. So I'm assuming, you're kind of separated from the people who are attracted to going to places where there is opportunity from, a wealthier tourist. So you get to meet the real people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
they see
absolutely.
they see us on a bicycle and they think that we are poor because we cannot afford to have a car.
There must be thinking, what kind of
What?
like white European doesn't have a car? I mean, for them, Europe is like, it's Europe and most westernized countries. So and in their country, if you don't have a car but you have a bicycle, it means that you've got like some serious issues.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I mean, people don't treat us with pity. People really treat us with like kindness, and
they feel that they need to help us.
Yeah.
And
No.
it's really nice to have these people on the road. We could be totally independent in terms of food and water and sleep, but it's nice to have these people helping us and opening conversations, and all the great memories we have are thanks to all the people we met and relationship we've built, because we're still in contact with
a lot
so
of
many.
them, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. No, it's, I think traveling when you get to meet the real people and you get to interact with them, that's the takeaway kind of experiences. The sights, the scenery are all kind of nice, but as you said before, it's the human contact that really kind of gives you the memories, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without all of those people, we would have been bored for 2 years. I mean, we have a good relationship and we get on well with each other, but still, I mean, yeah, it's really nice to meet and all different types of people, not just we don't just go like from cyclist house to cyclist house,
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
No.
But absolutely, I know exactly what you mean. It's if it wasn't for 99% of the people we met on the road, we would have just come back with, hey, how was it? Yeah.
Yeah, nice landscape.
Yeah, that was a good 2-3 years.
Yeah.
No, awesome. So what would be your advice for anyone who's looking to, go off on a tour like you guys, what should they think about? You know, you guys kind of said you just had some basic planning and then you kind of like learn as you go. But, you know, having done this for 2 years, would there be anything you do a little bit different or advice you give to other people?
I think our first advice would be, even before planning a tour, would be do whatever you want. I mean, if you're happy with just working like Monday to Friday and then barbecuing like the hell out of your weekends, then that's absolutely fine. But make sure that's actually what you want to do. And I think that to be able to know that, you need to try stuff. You need to do a lot of different activities in order to say, okay, yeah, I'd rather be watching series. Because a lot of people, they tell us, wow, I'd really like to do that, and we always say, actually, maybe you wouldn't, because it sounds very nice and it sounds like a dream to cycle around, but it's not always that nice. So maybe you would like to do something else. Maybe you would like to hitchhike, or maybe you would like to just sell everything you have and open like a surf shop in, I don't know, whatever country.
Yeah.
So first advice is this one. Yeah, it's don't fall into a mold. Make sure you're living the life you really want to live, because we only have one, and one day you'll trip over and die in a really stupid way, and you know, you'll have all of these plans and all of these dreams in a drawer, and they're just, yeah, useless. So that's the first trip. Like, really think about what you're doing.
Okay.
And this, no, 1 second.
The second tip is go cycling. Like, cycling is cool.
Yeah.
Why would you want to not cycle everywhere? If you're preparing a trip, make sure you try to take more time than what you think is actually needed. Because when you're cycling, it's always longer than what you expected. And make sure you know where you want to go, because there's a lot, like the planet is a huge place, and there's a lot of Earth to discover. So yeah, what would you say?
Yeah, do what you want to do. And yeah, like we did, it was really nice to be able to cycle during the summer and also the winter. We did a couple of winter excursions to test ourselves and see if we wanted more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we wrote a lot of blogs and watched videos on YouTube. There's a lot of information, but you only realize what you like and what you need once you are on the bicycle. And one thing that we did before the trip is, okay, when we took the plane, we had everything, and we stressed a lot to get all our gear on our panniers. And I think it was a little mistake in the sense that there are shops in other countries. There are people you can ask help to. You don't need to have everything with you. You just adapt while you cycle.
I think what Aurelie is trying to say is, don't be afraid to forget stuff.
Yeah.
And don't over prepare. You can always buy stuff along the way. You can always order stuff along the way. Yeah, don't overdo it.
So what about, carry on.
To say on our blog, we have a special entry about it's called Anyone Can Do It, and it's a special entry for beginners and also intermediate who want to cycle long distances, and we give a lot of tips on how you should start.
Okay. What about the budget? So, you know, because a lot of people were going 2 years, well, you know, that's going to cost us a lot of money. So, you know, so what do you say to people, you know, what kind of a budget per day or period of time should they plan to set aside?
Yeah, sorry, we lost you for a second, but I think we understand the question.
I think on an average, a couple would waste about spend about 12,000 euros a year on a cycling trip. We compare with each other, and this is what we encounter. It's about the same budget. But we know some cyclists who only had 4 euros a day as a budget, which is not a lot, and they just did it. They camped all the time. They depend on people's hospitality, and they just had the money for food and for visas. So it's possible. I mean, the more you have, the more comfortable you travel, or the longer you can travel.
Yeah.
But you'll be surprised by how cheap it is to travel on a bicycle.
Yeah, and
It really is.
That's really something which must be said about cycling, is that you can make it as cheap and as expensive as you want. As already said, we've met people who spend a fraction of what we did, and we still consider that we didn't spend a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just for us as a couple, it's nice to be, or a couple or a solo cyclist, to have some comfort once in a while, to be able to afford a hotel and not depend on the restriction you have on your budget.
Yeah. No, understood.
I mean,
So
we've been traveling for 2 years and people have traveled for a year. But I believe even if you cycle 6 or 8 months, you have an amazing time.
yeah. So what would you say to people who haven't experienced cycle touring as yet? What is the benefits of traveling by cycle?
Freedom and happiness.
Very good.
Which really, I mean, they go together. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you don't realize how free you are until you actually let go of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's when you really get happy. Yeah.
Because you are the master of your life. And even more when you're on your bicycle, you have decided to do what you love, and you decide where you go, you decide when you go, you decide when you want to stop, what you want to eat. It's and this freedom gives you happiness. I believe
Yeah.
it.
No, brilliant. So what's next for you guys? So I believe from your website or your blog, you're traveling a little bit around Europe. So so what's the plan there? Is there any kind of like, or is it just like short trips, or is it a continuous trip?
So what was meant to be an 18 months trip has now become a lifestyle that we want to experience. It's still in the early age of how can we keep on living this way. So we're working on different possibilities. We're still traveling on our savings. And the thing is that we were stopped with COVID last year. We tried to wait where we got stuck, but at the end, the borders never, I mean, they're still closed. So we are in Europe at the moment. We have family in different countries here. So the aim is, being careful with COVID, is to be able to see family and friends.
Yep.
Wait until borders open again and be able to cycle long distances. So we have two itineraries in mind. One would be to fly back, but fly to Japan, for example, and then cycle back to Europe using a more northern way, which is like more of China, Russia, Mongolia, Central Asia again, and Middle East and Europe.
Yep.
And the second one would be the Americas.
Okay. So these are your bucket list plans already kind of like set out.
Yeah, and I think between the two options that Aurelie just spelled out, I think it's going to be a matter of where we can go first, because Asia still looks like it's not going to open anytime soon. South America is starting to warm up a little bit, so yeah, we'll see. But yeah, but I mean that's another problem with cycling, is that you realize that you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, why not cycle like in the United States, for example? It's very common to do like east to west or west to east, and that sounds sweet as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of possibilities. So
Absolutely, yeah.
We know that we put Singapore as the final destination because, I mean, it's the end of the land and that there's
yeah.
no way to continue. But then we realized, no, I mean, you take a flight and you're
Go
on another.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So what's your guys' definition of adventure?
Oh,
For me, it's living every day without actually knowing what's going to happen. It's very easy to fall into some kind of routine. And I mean, at the end of the day, we always have a routine. I mean, we wake up and we go to sleep every night. Yes. But I have no idea where I'm going to sleep tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm going to see today, who I'm going to meet, what I'm going to eat. It's just, for me, that's the biggest adventure. Like the fact that almost every day is totally different. It's impossible to guess, and it's just so nourishing. It's just so motivating for me.
Okay, and Aurelie?
Yeah, it's the same for me. It's the fact that it's unknown. That's the adventure. Where am I going? I mean, I know I'm going this way, but I don't know how it's going to be like. Maybe the road is in really bad shape. We have to change the route. We played this game during the trip, like on the morning when we started cycling. Okay, can you guess what's gonna happen at the end of the day? If we're gonna be able to camp, or someone is gonna host us, and this kind of games, and we were always wrong.
Yeah. So you're definitely advocates that everyone should have a little bit of adventure in their life.
Yeah,
it makes every day meaningful. Yeah, meaningful. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So what would you say to someone who's been dreaming about going on some kind of an adventure, not necessarily cycle touring, but hasn't, basically got the courage to take the next step? So what would you say to them?
I mean, I always say that if you really have a dream, if you really feel this necessity to do your whatever plan, do it. And if you don't do it, it's maybe because there's actually a reason not to do it. And then in that case, I always say change your dream. Because I understand that not everyone can just let go of everything for 2 years and go around the planet. Okay, I really understand that that's not possible for everyone. In that case, like, stop dreaming about it. Do a smaller version of that. Do something different, but don't just keep on dreaming something that you know is not going to happen, because that's really unhealthy.
Yeah.
Do other stuff. It doesn't have to be this. It can be anything else. Just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And also, an advice would be to try to do this dream as fast as possible. Like, don't wait too much to do it. Thinking about it, I mean, we saved money during 10 years, but we really thought about the trip during 4 years before doing it. So it's actually more than what we've been cycling.
Yeah.
So do it. If you get it wrong, then you change it, you readjust, and there's no bad or wrong. You just change your dream or what you want to do.
Yep. No, so have a degree of flexibility as well. Don't be.
Yeah, absolutely.
You once again, you're the master of your life, so you do what you want to do, and the neighbor does what he wants to do.
Yeah, it's very silly to impose yourself rules which are unnecessary, really.
Yeah. No, very true. So you guys are approaching 40, you're not quite there yet, but a lot of people are view 40 or over 40 with some kind of anxiety, feel, time is running out and they get all worried. So what advice would you have?
Stop comparing yourself. I mean, we're all different, and I have 3 older brothers, and they've got like careers and children, and probably soon they'll have grandchildren, because I'm the youngest. And I don't care, because that's not what I want. So why should that be a standard for me? And that can be applied to everything in life. 40, it's a big stone, a big milestone for a lot of people. For some reason, I still don't understand why, and it's just a number. I mean,
there's always younger and older than you, and the important thing is to live every day as if it was the last one, or the year as if it was the last one, and be happy, really.
No, definitely. So what would be your guys' definition of living a legendary life?
Legendary.
Legendary, your best life.
I mean, for us, the dream is to have to gain such an economical status to allow us to travel indefinitely. For me, that would be the most awesome thing I can think of right now.
So basically the freedom to keep on traveling, that's your definition.
Exactly, yeah. But an absolutely super out of there thing I can think of is to have maybe some kind of sponsor which which gives us little missions along the way. So that we're also traveling, we're also able to travel, but at the same time we have to write such an article about this, we have to visit such place in order to check it out, or but always in a very healthy way, not for any specific commercial reasons or something like that.
Yeah.
So to have to still be able to have the freedom that we enjoy right now.
Yeah. No, very good. So, and what would be 3 life lessons you guys have learnt that you think would be of value to pass on to other people? So this is your opportunity to share things you've learnt, which may give some other people some insights that can help them in their life.
For me, it would be don't be afraid of other people. Um, a stranger is a friend you've never met before. And yeah, people can be so kind, and don't watch too much TV and media. Just witness it by yourself, and you realize how nice people are.
Yep.
So open yourself. Maybe sometimes, for example, we have our telephone now, we have our GPS, we don't need to talk to people, but sometimes it's nice to provoke the situation. Okay, I know more or less where I'm going, but maybe I could ask, maybe this guy knows places I should visit, or where I should cycle. And recently in England and France, so we cycled in these countries. We know them, and it's easy for us to camp. Um, but we said, let's knock at people's door. Let's provoke the situation. Let's see what there is behind this door, and let's see how people can help us. I don't need it, but I want to have a little bit of adventure and
Yeah.
new experiences, and you'll be amazed by how nice people can be.
No, cool. So,
Another really important life lesson is don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to help. In a lot of westernized countries, we tend to like give everyone their distance. You know, we keep distances because for some reason we were told that you should respect others' privacies, etc. And in a lot of countries, especially for example in Central Asia, that doesn't exist. People will directly, you stop in a village and people come up to you and, oh, what are you looking for? What do you need? How can I help you? And we found that really nice.
yeah.
And at the beginning, you're thinking, well, you know, we come from Europe. Maybe we shouldn't like weigh you guys down too much. But I mean, they're sharing their rice with you, and they're doing it out from the bottom of their heart, and you should also be happy to receive that sacrifice and share it and tell people about it. And it's really nice. It's a really deep human experience that you can have with someone. So don't be afraid to experience that, to do that.
Cool. So, lesson number 3, one more.
From my point of view, is probably something like buy a good bike. Okay, you can you can travel. You can travel with any bike you want. You really can. But when you have a good bike, and when I mean good bike is depending on how much you can spend on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be super good, but make sure you spend like a decent amount of money on a bike, because it will take you a long way. It will become your best friend, and you will, I don't know, it's like a pet, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's an investment in making sure I get you from A to B, isn't it? So,
but that's just like my boyish, subconscious speaking. I don't know. Do you have anything better to add?
It's perfect.
Okay.
Well, very good. Well, thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy our conversation, get some ideas and inspiration from it. So how can people find you online?
So we actually also cycled for charity for 2 years, where we collected funds for two NGOs which do amazing work through the use of the bicycle. Just to say that we were very active on social media. So we have a Facebook account, an Instagram account, a YouTube account, and we also have a blog which is hosted on WordPress.
And all of these platform, you can find us under the name 421 Adventure. So that you know, 421 stands for 4 wheels, 2 hearts, 1 world.
Very good. Well, maybe a last plug for these two NGOs you're supporting.
Okay, so very quickly, one works with young girls and young women who have or who are being threatened by human trafficking. So we're talking about very, very, very undeveloped countries where having a bicycle means having a social life or being economically active, or just being sold, basically. I mean, it's as raw as that.
Yeah.
And even on the trip, we were lucky enough to visit some places and to donate some bicycle to some of these girls, and it was really, really amazing. And the second one?
The second one is for people with disability. So this association has a lot of infrastructure and special bicycle adapted to their physical problem, so that they can go once a week or twice a week to enjoy the benefits of cyclists. There are a lot of volunteers there, and they discover that they can gain confidence and independence by cycling rather than walking.
Awesome. So, well, thanks again, guys. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Likewise. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, hope to see you out there sometime.